How's it going, everyone? Growing up in the northern part of Italy, there was one dish that I just loved, risotto alla Milanese. Then when you consider the types of mushrooms that you could find out there, especially fresh porcini, I came out with a recipe that I loved because I combined a risotto Milanese with porcini mushrooms and did a few tweaks to it and everything. So tonight, just a quick risotto recipe that we want to show you. Let's show you the ingredients here on how to prepare a risotto alla Milanese with porcini mushrooms. Alright, so here we have to make this risotto recipe, 1 cup of onion. You could choose to use whatever onion you want. You can even use some shallot if you feel like doing so. We have right here 1 cup of arborio rice. You want to make sure to use arborio rice or a type of sticky rice to make risotto. Do not use a long grain rice or it's not going to come out the way it's supposed to be. Over here we have 1 cup of mushroom juice. Okay, to explain to you real quick what this mushroom juice is, I have to show you this other ingredient. We have right here a half a cup of chopped up rehydrated dry porcini mushrooms. The reason I have this mushroom juice on this side is because I grabbed these dry porcini mushrooms, I put them in a bowl, I covered them with enough water just to cover up the mushrooms, let them sit for 20 minutes until they rehydrated real nice, strained out my mushrooms out of that water, but then I reserved it because what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this in my risotto, and we're going to show you later how to do that. Over here we have a half a cup of Parmeggiano Reggiano cheese, 2 tablespoons of butter right here, unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon of minced parsley, and here we have some saffron. This is powdered saffron that I got from Italy. Over here in the U.S., you might find powdered saffron. If not, you find saffron strands. If you could find your powdered saffron, perfectly fine. If you don't, and all you can find is saffron strands, use 2 teaspoons of saffron strands. I got some extra virgin olive oil right here. I'm going to use about 2 to 3 tablespoons of this. I like olive oil, so most likely I'm going to use 3. Alright, so last ingredient, and then we're going to start cooking up our risotto, and I just moved over here because this one ingredient that I have is sitting on the stove for obvious reasons that I'm going to explain to you right now. In this little pan, I got like 4 cups of chicken stock. I have it on here on the stove because I've been having this chicken stock simmer. That's how you want your chicken stock to make good risotto. You want it hot. So bring that chicken stock up to a bowl, drop it to a simmer. While it's simmering, start cooking up your risotto. So let's do that. Alright, so we want to start cooking up our risotto right here. What we want to do, we want to grab this bag of powdered saffron, or these 2 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons of saffron strand that I told you to use, just in the case you do not have this type of powdered saffron that I managed to get from Italy or whatever. However, let's just dump it in this chicken stock. There we go. And then just mix it up. We're just going to let this sit here simmering. Let me close it up. And while this is simmering, let's start our next steps that we need to prepare our risotto with. Alright, to start up our risotto right here, I got a non-stick pan. What I want to do, I have this warming up on medium heat. I just want to throw in here some olive oil. 2 to 3 tablespoons. Hey, in Italy they use a lot of olive oil and I like it, so I'm going to put 3 tablespoons in there. Next thing we want to do, we want to grab these diced up onions right here. Just throw them in here. You just want to cook these without color and sweat them down. Alright, so my onions are sweated down. It's just been like a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes or so, or until your onions become nice and translucent like that. Next thing I want to do, I want to grab this arborio rice right here and just throw it in this pan. We want to keep stirring, and we want to toast up this rice. Just keep going until you see all these rice grains change color and get infused all nice with that oil. That's the secret about cooking risotto, is keep stirring it. Don't go answering the phone. Don't go answering your door. Refuse the urge of nature if you have to, but yeah, you got to keep stirring it unless it might stick. You might overcook it. There's a few variables that might go into it. However, stay on top of the stove and keep stirring it. So let's keep doing this until our rice is all nice and toasted up. Alright, so it's been only like a few minutes, 3 minutes or so. I got my rice nice and toasted right here. As you can see, this is when you get a nice toasted rice. You're going to have a nice gloss from that oil going all over your rice. So next step we want to take, and just to give you a little bit of insight, I would add white wine at this stage of cooking this risotto right here. But unfortunately, I was all out of white wine. If you have some white wine, add like a half a cup of white wine or a cup of white wine. Reduce this, just like I'm about to do right now with the next liquid, and absorb it in all into that nice rice right here. And it will come out even more flavorful. Well, unfortunately, since I don't have any right now, tonight, I'm going to add this mushroom juice that I pulled out that I told you about earlier. So let's just drop it in here and just stir it all in here. What we want to do, we want to keep stirring this until everything has absorbed all nice into this rice and you cannot barely see any of this mushroom juice left in this pan. Okay, so we finished absorbing all that mushroom juice into our rice right here. As you can see, there's almost no liquid left. Actually, there's no liquid left. This is absorbed real nice. Keep on going. I'm not going to give you an exact measurement. It all depends on how hot your stove is. However, keep on going. Stir in everything until your juice have absorbed real nice into this rice. Next thing we want to do, and this is where some people, they like to add 1 instead of 2 like I do. However, I like to add 2 ladles of this chicken saffron stock in here at first. Some people like to go a ladle at a time, let it absorb, and then add another one. I like to add 2 at the beginning. Keep on stirring it until everything is absorbed, and then go 1 ladle at a time until the rice is all cooked real nice, al dente. So, let me absorb this liquid, and then we'll get back to you. Okay. So here my rice is looking good. I reduced those 2 ladles of stock that I put in here. The rice have absorbed them nice. Each ladle is approximately, I would say, half a cup or a little bit more. So I would say I just put in here like 1 cup of stock. What I want to do next, I just want to grab 1 more of these ladles, throw them in here. From now on, we're just going to go 1 ladle at a time. I say this would take another 2 ladles and that's it. However, after this 1 ladle, we're going to let this one reduce and absorb all nice, and then we're going to start testing it for that rice being al dente, which means just slightly resistant in the middle and nice and soft on the outside. So, let me do this. Okay, so I kept adding a ladle at a time. At this point, I added like 4 ladles and a quarter, I would say. However, just keep adding ladles and testing as you go, as they absorb into the rice, until you get your rice up to the point that you like it. I like mine al dente, like I said. A little bit of resistance on the inside and soft on the outside. And you can tell when that happens, because you're going to have some nice creamy rice like this that still looks slightly white in the middle. Okay, at this point, since we're finished, we're going to shut down the heat and we're just going to finish this up. We're just going to grab our mushrooms right here and throw them in here. Mix them all up real nice. You know, there's no need to add these mushrooms in just before you started cooking or anytime you want. Adding it just these mushrooms at the end, just like this, is perfectly fine. Because you added that mushroom juice, so you already flavored that rice with all that mushroom flavor. And you want that texture contrast and the flavor contrast of those mushrooms in there without them being absorbed with stock and everything. So what we want to do next, we just want to grab the butter that I had, throw it in there, mix it up real nice and make these butter all melt down in here. Okay, now that my butter's melt down in here, what I want to do, I want to grab the Parmesan cheese, throw it in here. You can add as much Parmesan as you like. It depends on how cheesy you like it. I like mine cheesy. Alright, from this point, and then we're finished, we're just going to grab this parsley that I had, dump it in here, mix everything up real nice. Okay, so we're finished with our risotto right here. I'm just going to finish mixing this up. So, We're going to serve this up, plate it up, and then we're going to show you the finished product. Okay, so we plated everything up. Our risotto is finished, and here we go. Beautiful risotto alla Milanese with porcini mushrooms. A little of mine interpretation of the classic, if you want to put it. However, if you have the time to cook yourself a good risotto and you feel like standing up to the challenge, try this out. I will guarantee you will love it. Till next time, we'll see you.